Hi guys, and welcome back to That's Mental. So today I want to talk about a concept that I've called the mental load, or it's not a really nice term, so maybe we could refer to that as carrying around a lot of mental weight. So what does this mean? What I mean is that you're carrying around so much stuff in your mind that it starts to feel very overwhelming. It's your to-do list, your responsibilities, your thoughts, etc. And you're carrying it around and you end up feeling exhausted. There's a French illustrator who made a cartoon about this. Her name is Emma. And her cartoon was also actually more about the mental weight that women carry around with them for all of their responsibilities. And I will link this in the description, and I will try and insert just a quick image here. But I'm not going to dig into that today. But beyond the very poignant cartoon that she made, I would like to talk about how this affects everyone, actually, not just women, but also men and women, because when it comes to responsibilities and things that we have to do, we all carry around a lot of thoughts and this sort of never-ending to-do list with us. This is why I feel that this topic is relevant for everyone, because I feel that actually it creates a lot of mental distress. I know that I've experienced this before, if not frequently, and it ends up leaving me feeling completely exhausted and, to be honest, a little bit burned out, actually. Basically, as I said in the beginning, the idea is that your brain is just so full of thoughts. But really, I want to use an image here. It's kind of like when you're trying to pack a suitcase and you have too many clothes and it's just completely overflowing and you can't close it anymore. So that's exactly what this feels like with your thoughts in your brain, the overflowing suitcase. In your suitcase are things like your shopping list, something that you need to get fixed in your house, the email from a friend that you need to answer, or the WhatsApp messages that you still haven't answered or even read or listened to, the laundry, work problems, something you forgot to do for work, the meeting that you have tomorrow, something that's bothering you with a friend, something that's bothering you elsewhere, different things that you have planned for this week, and so on. And in my case, or if you're like me, this might also involve additional things like planning meals ahead of time, the 5 appointments that you have with friends, fitting in workouts and dance class, but still finding time to chill and relax, working on That's Mental in addition to my job, Dutch class, learning new words, new vocabulary, new language, creative projects, and much, much more. You get the idea, right? It's just a lot that we all have going on in our lives. It's completely normal, or I don't know if normal is the right term, actually, because we've become accustomed to living extremely busy lives where we're always doing more, and busy is almost a badge of honor. But anyway, let's just say that this is currently the reality that we live in, and so we're all faced with this overwhelming load of things that we have to do and think about all the time. The more that you try to keep at the front of your mind and the more that you try to juggle, then the more exhausting it becomes, the more energy it takes from you, and the less you're going to be able to deal with it in the long run. And that's how we end up feeling burned out. Burnout doesn't just have to occur from work or other very stressful issues going on in your life. Actually, it can also be an accumulation of stress over a long period of time. And this idea where the thoughts never leave your mind and you're constantly trying to think about what you have to do and play catch up is exhausting mentally. On top of that, actually, there's also the constant distraction of social media, which I personally find very mentally taxing. You're constantly checking, getting notifications, having to answer, feel like you have to be engaged on it. And that's also exhausting for our minds. In addition, we've also become very accustomed to multitasking or doing several things at once, which is actually not something that we're programmed to do, and is once again very exhausting for our brains. Actually, every time you switch tasks, it takes 25 minutes for you to refocus from one task to the next. So what we're doing when we're multitasking is tiring our brain. It's a lot of information for our brains that we cannot cope with, and we just get overloaded, basically. So this is why with this constant load of things on your mind, you can end up feeling drained, exhausted, burned out, and overwhelmed. Here are a couple of things that you can do to help yourself in this situation if you're experiencing this mental overload, or you feel like you're carrying a lot in your brain and your suitcase won't close. First of all, realize that not everything is your responsibility. Really learn to see where responsibilities lie. Where can you hand something over to someone else? Where can you let go? Not just in terms of tasks, but also emotionally. Are you carrying some emotional responsibility for someone, and do you really have to do that? We often think that things are our responsibility, and that's what makes it all the more exhausting, I would say. But as in Emma's comic, as she illustrates, for example, with domestic tasks, these things are shared responsibilities. So we don't have to take it all on for ourselves. Something very important to identify. Second, learn to slow down and prioritize. You cannot do everything and be everywhere at once, and that's totally normal. And I think part of this always on, very fast, busy world is feeling that we have to do that. But actually, you can find a lot of peace in realizing that you don't. Selecting where you want to go, where you want to be, where you want to invest your time. And once again, that really takes a weight off your mind when you feel that you can actually prioritize and you don't have to be everywhere. Meditate. Okay, I know you might be rolling your eyes at the idea of meditation, but actually it really does teach you how to deal with those thoughts in your brain and the fact that they're running around and creating havoc. And Headspace has some very cute illustrations and very short animations about what this looks like. Meditation does help you to recognize that they're just thoughts, to find silence in your brain and in your thoughts when it's complete chaos. And although you don't have to be a meditation guru, I mean, honestly, the longest meditations I do are 10 minutes. It can still really help to find that calmness and that moment of quiet where you can actually really recharge and not let yourself get overwhelmed and totally frazzled by all these thoughts. Try to use social media mindfully. It's really difficult. It's something that I struggle with. I think we all struggle with it. But I think if you're able to realize that it does take energy from you, there is a mental cost to using it. Just think about ways in which you can decrease your activity. Is it, for instance, first hour that you're awake in the morning, you're not checking, or last hour before you go to bed, or 1 hour over lunch, or 1 day free a week, whatever it is, and however you do it, try to do that mindfully so that you again reduce this weight and this stress on your mind. And then last but not least, try to stop multitasking. Like I said before, we are not programmed to do this. Our brains have not been designed that way. You think you're being efficient, but actually we are not efficient when we try to do several things at once. Basically, be kind to your mind, give it some rest. Hopefully you will feel less frazzled by doing so, and this will help reduce this feeling of the mental weight that you're carrying around with you all the time, or this suitcase that you cannot close. So just be kind to yourself and try to find moments of quiet for your mind.